please like, share and subscribe. Thank you. All-wheel drive systems like Audi's fabled Quattro have long done a good job of mitigating Mother Nature's punch, but even she can't always be denied. That was exactly the case in February, when nasty winter weather snarled air travel and prevented our man Tim Stevens from getting to the international launch of the 2019 Audi A7 in South Africa. I felt genuinely bad for our editor-in-chief, but I was also quite pleased to belatedly score Roadshow's first drive of this second-generation Slipstream 4-door in its native element, on the German Autobahn, earlier this month. First things first, you should know something about me, your author. My family owns a first-generation Audi A7, and while it's a relatively recent, certified pre-owned, purchase, we've found it to be a superlative and encompassing performer. You may therefore choose to label this first drive story as either biased, or give me the benefit of the doubt in believing that I know more about the A7's historic virtues and vices than the average bear. With that formality out of the way, let's get to the car. The original 2012 to 2018 A7 was an elegant but surprisingly useful grand tourer, with a long, low and fluid presence all its own. The new 2019 model is very similarly sized, and it likewise casts a similar shadow. It builds on the original design legacy, copying the same hunkered-down stance thanks to a low, tapered roofline made possible by frameless doors and a long hatchback. Yet the 2019 model also looks completely different, following Audi's recent trend toward more elaborately creased sheet metal, more imposing grilles and more theatrical, glowering head and tail lamps that incorporate eye-catching start-up and shut-down light show sequences. The look is certainly more modern, and inarguably more aggressive. As has been the case with recent Audi designs, including everything from the TT Sports Coupe to the A4 sedan, I tend to favor the more organic, rounded and simpler forms of the generations that came before it, but that's a personal preference. There's no doubt the 2019 A7 is still a stunningly attractive and very premium-looking automobile. The 2019 A7 may be dimensionally similar to its antecedent, but it rides atop a very different framework, the Volkswagen Group's fast becoming ubiquitous MLB Evo architecture. Versions of MLB Evo underpin everything from the new A8 and A6 sedans to the Audi Q3 SUV, Porsche Cayenne and Lamborghini Urus. More of a toolkit of building blocks and production processes than a fixed platform, MLB Evo has been essentially excellent in everything we at Roadshow have driven, and predictably, it's a rock-solid partner in the new A7. The rest of the A7's cabin is no less slick or covetable, with first-class leathers, low-gloss open porewoods and real metal trim configured in both painstaking and artful fashion. There's also solid connectivity, including 4 USB ports, wireless charging and an SD card slot. Like the A8 above it and the A6 below it, the A7 offers a class-leading interior that feels entirely worthy of its no-doubt premium pricing. Also as before, there's plenty of room to stretch out in front, while rear seat passengers have surprisingly decent legroom, a bit more than before, in fact, and adequate headroom for a pair of 6-footers, taller if they're willing to slouch a bit. And there's also gobs of cargo room, 19 cubic feet of space with the rear seats up, or an SUV like 49 cubes with them folded. Those measurements are substantially more capacious than rivals like today's Mercedes-Benz C-Class and BMW 6 Series Grand Coupe. Indeed, they're more than longer, class above sedans like the Mercedes-Benz S454 Matic, and Audi's own 2019 A8 sedan. Turbo hybrid lungs, at least until the inevitable sportier S7 and RS7 variants come along, the A7 will be available with one powertrain, a 3.0-liter turbocharged V6 mated to Audi's 7-speed dual-clutch S-tronic gearbox with paddle shifters. Power is quoted at an unremarkable-sounding 340 horsepower, and torque is pegged at a that's more like it 368 pound-feet. 0 to 62 mph is quoted at 5.3 seconds, which would be plenty quick, but it feels slightly more rapid yet. Like its forebearer, the new 2019 Audi A7's styling and fastback configuration won't be for everyone. Its price, which will likely start at around $75,000 when it arrives this fall, will thin its herd of suitors even further. But as has been true since the first A7 Audi era in 2012, this new generation remains a paragon of grand touring performance, poshness and style for those in the know.